Are you ready to witness absolute chaos on the gridiron this season? Imagine staring down an offensive line knowing you have two of the most destructive forces in the entire National Football League locked onto your quarterback like heat-seeking missiles. That nightmare is a reality for opposing teams because a certain elite defensive powerhouse is officially taking over the league, and the national media is finally waking up to it. Before we dive into how this terrifying defensive front is going to completely break the league this year, do me a massive favor. Make sure to smash that like button, share this video with your fellow diehard fans, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on any of our deep dives all season long. Now, let's look at the historical greatness that built this defensive legacy. When you look at the all-time forced fumble leaders for this franchise, the legendary J.J. Watt sits entirely uncontested at the mountaintop with 25 forced fumbles. Right below him at number 2 is the elite Whitney Mercilus, who wrecked offenses to the tune of 13 forced fumbles. But let me challenge your true fan knowledge right here. Who do you think holds the number 3 spot on that list? Do you actually know your football history, or are you just guessing? Drop your answers down in the comments section right now, no cheating, and I will reveal the legendary defender who claims that bronze medal at the very end of the video. Let's get straight into the massive disrespect that just dropped from the national media. ESPN recently released their highly anticipated ranking of the top 10 edge rushers in the NFL, and while it is great to see this squad get some national love, the actual order is bound to make your blood boil. Their official countdown starts with Myles Garrett as the undisputed number 1 overall edge rusher in football. From there, Micah Parsons somehow slides into the number 2 spot, just barely edging out the sensational reigning Defensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson Jr. Max Crosby takes the number 4 spot, followed by Aiden Hutchinson at 5. Then comes the legendary Danielle Hunter commanding the number 6 position, sitting right in front of T.J. Watt at 7, Nick Bosa at 8, Brian Burns at 9, and Nick Bonitto barely making the cut to round out the top 10 at number 10. Seriously, how can anyone look at this list and not feel a massive surge of frustration? Let's talk about the absolute elephant in the room. Nick Bosa played only 3 games last season. 3 games. Are we seriously going to pretend that a 3-game sample size is enough to justify ranking him as the 8th best edge rusher in the entire sport? Rankings should be heavily weighed on what a player has actually done on the field recently, and putting someone in the top 10 based on past reputation alone is a total joke. This brings us to our official question of the day. Do you agree with this ESPN top 10 edge rusher list, or do you think our guys got completely robbed? Let me know your exact rankings and thoughts in the comments below. If we are being completely honest, both of our hometown heroes deserve to be pushed way higher up that list. Will Anderson Jr. belongs at number 2, ahead of Micah Parsons, without question. That is no disrespect to Parsons, who is obviously a wildly talented defensive weapon, but what Anderson is building is entirely unique. He possesses a rare, unhinged competitive drive that separates him from the pack. Meanwhile, Danielle Hunter should easily be a top 5 lock. Call it biased all you want, but the cold hard numbers from this past season do not lie. Together, this terrifying tandem absolutely terrorized opposing offenses, combining for a ridiculous 35 tackles for loss and an astounding 27 sacks. Add in 6 forced fumbles and 6 pass breakups, and it becomes blindingly obvious why this squad boasted the number 1 defense in the entire NFL. Let's break down exactly what the national analysts wrote about Will Anderson Jr., because it proves just how special this kid really is. The article noted that Anderson actually tied in the voting with Las Vegas's Max Crosby, but Anderson ultimately secured the tiebreaker because he received significantly more top 5 votes from the panel. He is a pure engine of defensive havoc, credited with causing 43 incomplete passes in 2025, which was 6 more than any other pass rusher in the league. With 30 sacks already under his belt in just 3 years, alongside a Defensive Rookie of the Year trophy and All-Pro honors, it was a complete no-brainer for management to lock him down with a massive $150 million, 3-year contract extension. He is worth every single penny. Anderson has elevated his game exponentially every single season, matching his terrifying on-field production with a relentless, alpha mentality. Just look at the postseason. Even when the team suffered that heartbreaking playoff loss to the Patriots, Anderson was unequivocally the greatest football player on that field, outclassing everyone on both rosters. The absolute wreckage he caused in the backfield against Drake May was legendary. The Patriots were incredibly lucky that quarterback C.J. Stroud threw an uncharacteristic 4 interceptions in that game, because Anderson was practically dragging this team to victory by his own shoestrings. His postseason pressure metrics were out of this world, registering a mind-boggling 19.5% pressure rate in the playoffs, sitting right behind Nick Bonito's 20.2%. His regular season metrics tell the exact same story of dominance, especially when you look at quick pressures, which measures a defender reaching the quarterback in under 2.5 seconds. Anderson ranked third in the entire NFL with 35 quick pressures. While Myles Garrett is operating at an elite tier right now, Anderson has all the tools to completely usurp him and claim the Defensive Player of the Year award this season. He has spent the summer training directly alongside Garrett, soaking up knowledge like a sponge. If you think a massive contract extension is going to make him complacent, you are sorely mistaken. It is only going to fuel his fire to dominate the league even more. But this defense isn't a one-man show, because Danielle Hunter is just as lethal on the opposite side. The single best word to define Hunter's career is underrated. Placing him at number 6 on a top 10 list is still a massive oversight when you look at the destruction he brought to the field last year. He racked up 15 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. If critics try to diminish his success by claiming he has it easy playing across from a superstar like Anderson, they clearly haven't looked at the analytical data. ESPN's own analysis pointed out that despite battling mid-career injuries, Hunter has exploded for 43.5 sacks over the last 3 seasons as he enters his 30s. Even more impressive, his 54 sacks over the past 4 campaigns rank second in the entire NFL, trailing only Myles Garrett's 67. When Hunter gets the initial pressure on a play, opposing quarterbacks are left with a miserable 1.6 QBR, which is the absolute best mark among every single edge rusher on the list. While Garrett gets all the headlines for securing 32 pressures against double teams, guess who sits at number 3 on that incredibly elite list? It's Danielle Hunter. It does not matter if an offensive coordinator assigns 2 or 3 blockers to stop him, he will inevitably find a way to smash the quarterback. This squad stands alone as the only franchise in the NFL with 2 players featured in the top 10 edge rusher rankings. Frankly, our secondary should have received similar love. Kamari Lassiter just barely missed out on a top 10 cornerback ranking, getting edged out by Cooper DeJean. Regardless of the media snubs, this entire defensive unit is locked, loaded, and ready to feast. This edge-rushing duo strikes pure terror into the hearts of opposing play callers because you have absolute terminators hunting you down on every single snap. The hype doesn't stop in the trenches either, because national analyst Benjamin Solak just highlighted safety Kalen Bullock as a prime breakout candidate for this defense. But if you ask casual NFL fans to name the premier superstars of this defense, they will immediately shout out names like Will Anderson Jr., Derek Stingley Jr., or Danielle Hunter. He is a classic, pure center field safety, a rare and beautiful dying breed in today's NFL. The chemistry in this defensive backfield is palpable. Bullock and Kamari Lassiter have taken the league completely by storm since entering the league together as rookies, and their tight-knit friendship has translated into elite communication on the gridiron. While paying all these young stars down the road might create a salary cap headache for the front office, it is a phenomenal problem to have. When you look at this secondary, featuring Jalen Petra holding down the nickel spot, Kamari Lassiter at corner 2, Derek Stingley Jr. locking down the boundary at corner 1, and the dynamic safety duo of Reed Blankenship and Kalen Bullock, there is no doubt in my mind that this group will secure the number 1 pass defense in football. To wrap things up, let's revisit the trivia question from the beginning of the video. Did you manage to guess the 3rd all-time leader in forced fumbles in franchise history? Behind J.J. Watt and Whitney Mercilus sits the former number 1 overall draft pick, Mario Williams, who forced 11 fumbles during his dominant tenure here. It is wildly ironic to look back and remember how incredibly angry fans were when management drafted him over home state heroes like Vince Young or Reggie Bush. Yet, when you look at how all their careers panned out, Williams arguably put together the most successful professional career of the 3, and his place in team history is firmly secured. If you guessed that correctly, give yourself a massive pat on the back, because you truly know your football history.